Kelsey. How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome. I'm still in Wisconsin. Are you back in the city?
Yes, I got back like a couple hours ago after a 4-hour drive. So my eyes are
Oh,
like a little watery from looking at the road for that long, but I'm doing good.
oh, yeah.
I'm
Home
back.
sweet San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so nice to do some of the fall, autumnal. I saw you were pumpkin picking. I had some pumpkin pie for dinner. But it's also good to get back into it and have a little reset here on a Sunday night.
Yeah, for sure. It was nice. They came home and because we had just gone to the pumpkin patch, we have like our pumpkins out and everything. A couple of them we carved and they're already dead on our porch. So it totally caved in because San
Yeah.
Francisco is not very conducive to carved pumpkins apparently, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice to come home and kind of get ready to reset for the week ahead.
Definitely, yes. And I see we are officially live now. And I'm super excited to have you talk to us a little bit about what your weeks look like. We're here on a Sunday evening. You set aside some time. And I know you're balancing a lot of roles, projects, ways of earning money. So can you just give us a glimpse of what your work, life, passion balance looks like?
Yeah, definitely. So I work full time, 40 plus hours a week in an office as a PR and social media manager. And then my passion project is really my blog, which is blondesandbagels.com. I have an Instagram, I have a YouTube, I have all that good stuff. But I mean, it's challenging. It's challenging to try and find time for that when you're doing a full-time job. So I think that aspect of squeezing it into the after hours and all of that stuff has been really prevalent in my life. But before this, I was a merchandiser. So I've started to slowly at least shift my day job a little bit closer to align with really where my passions are. But yeah, the blog is just chugging along, trying to find time for it.
Yeah. And how long have you been blogging?
3 years now. Yeah, three years. I'm only questioning it because I found out the other day that I went back through my blog post to find out when I did my first post. And I had told everybody months ago, oh yeah, I hit my 4-year anniversary, and it had only been 3 years. So,
so it had been in you for a while, maybe. You feel like this has always been
blurred together. But yeah, it's definitely been a few years. So it's been a while.
And so throughout that, you've been working full time and blogging and Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah. So I'm actually just starting up the YouTube thing again. So it's kind of adding an additional thing to my plate to try and figure out how I'm allocating the time. But yeah, for the past few years, it's been the blog mainly. And then I've started to grow my Instagram really over the last year, I would say. I think this time last year, I had maybe 500 followers, and I'm up to maybe almost 12,000 people, I think, at this point. So
yeah, it was 12.2K when I looked.
oh.
So yeah. Yeah, lots of growth, lots of reach. But tell us a little, take us back a few years to when you were just starting out and you were working full time. What made you decide to start this and create a blog?
So what made me decide to start it, sorry, I'm turning off the volume on my phone. What made me decide to start it was I graduated college and kind of did the thing that you're supposed to do, which is essentially I went straight to work and told my parents, please don't send me any more money. I'm paying my rent. I'm paying all of this stuff, which is great, right? That's great. But also I got sucked into kind of this corporate world and realized that the creativity and the time and the freedom I had in college, I didn't have anymore once I started working in a corporate job. It was very much I was getting up early and then just getting to work and then draining an 8-hour to 9-hour day there and then had a 45-minute commute home and all of that. So I just was really missing all of that time for me and the space to be creative. As a merchandiser, it's a lot about the numbers. There's really no designing or artistry, or there's none of that creativity. So what I did is during maybe the busiest week of our quarter, I decided to start a blog, which is not the ideal timing, right? Because it's the busiest time, but it was the ideal timing in the sense that it felt right. It felt like it was the time to start something. I was at work, I wasn't really feeling fulfilled, and I needed a space to kind of write and do the things that I wanted to do. And that's how I started the blog. I'd always been a writer, so I really missed doing that. And I had always had a little bit of web design experience, so I started up a free WordPress account. And within a week, I was I'm going to self-host. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So it kind of just took off from there.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that story, or I know I hear that story a lot about I did all the things I was supposed to, I followed the, right path. So if anyone resonates with that part of Kelsey's story, please drop a comment or say hello. Because I think it's really admirable, like you said, even in the craziest part of your day job, you knew you needed an outlet. And clearly it was the right kind of outlet for you because you've stayed committed to it for years, it's growing, and you're able to share, your strengths, like you said. So would you say that Blondes and Bagels has a mission, or sort of what's your goal today with the blog?
I think it's changed over time, just to be real about it. When I started it, I knew it was for me, right? I knew I needed a space to talk about things or to be creative. But as it's kind of grown and I realized it wasn't just my mom reading it anymore, I think over time, I've just really wanted it to be a space for other people where I could kind of, one, share the things that I'm, an expert on, but also to give like people a safe place to come and like talk about stuff that matters to them or to us as a group. So, when I first started, I was writing really weird articles like, what it's really like to own Louboutins, or the 5 things about MAC makeup artists you didn't know. And they're like kind of funny and kind of fluffy, but like during this time when the news is kind of gross, it's nice to be giving people a place to come and just kind of like absorb info that's interesting to them. And I've always kept my comments open on my posts so people can leave comments, especially as I've started to talk about more, I don't want to say hard hitting, but kind of hard hitting topics. Like I've talked about anxiety. I've written posts about, mental health and all of those things. And I always leave the comment section open. I don't disable comments. That way people can come and talk and discuss with either me or each other or whatever. So yeah, I think the mission is really just to give, like-minded women a space on the internet to come and talk about these things.
Yeah, and you're totally creating that. I think that is a super simple idea for your bloggers or people that are trying to grow a following, to keep in mind that you have to be open, and whether it's leaving comments available or starting to grow some sort of group, that any passion project, part of it, of course, is for you to share it, but it's also to impact others and give them, like you said, a safe place or a resource or some sort of value.
Right.
Totally. So I think a question that's on a lot of people's minds, especially when they see you blogging about all sorts of different things, and just like it's open, they can go look at it, they can go comment on it, and it doesn't cost any money. How do bloggers make money?
It's a great question, because to your point, so whenever I do any kind of like sponsored anything, I always try and say like, thank you for helping me support the people that make this content possible, right? Because it is free and I want to keep it that way. I don't want to charge people Kardashian style to log on to a blog, right? Like that's kind of what they did. They have their own subscription model where if you want to follow, either Courtney or Kim or any of these people's websites, you literally have to pay a monthly fee for it. And I've always wanted to keep my content free. Yeah, you're shaking your head and laughing. It's true though, they do that.
Okay.
Their website, their articles. So I've always wanted to keep it free. And there's a few different ways that bloggers make money. They can make money through sponsored posts. That's where a brand will pay you to write a blog post about something. They can do sponsored Instagram posts, which is insane. But yeah, you can make a ton of money just doing an Instagram post, depending on your followers and your engagement rate, all of that stuff. You can be a brand ambassador. If you have like a long-term relationship with a brand, you can do brand ambassadorship. You can sell products. So at a certain point, all of these happen at different points in time, I would say. So like at some point when you have followers that really trust in what you're saying, or if a product makes sense with whatever your niche is, you can sell a product. So for example, if you're a fitness blogger, at some point you could sell a meal plan or write a book or do something like that. But those are the main ways that bloggers make money. Oh, and affiliate networks. So basically, if I'm talking about this sweatshirt, I can say swipe up to shop, and the link that you end up swiping up is an affiliate link. So you can make a commission off of either the click or the actual sale of products that way. So it's all about diversifying your income with that. I don't think any blogger makes money off of only one avenue, especially as an entrepreneur. It's really hard to have, there's no consistency, right? You can have some months where you make a ton and some months where you don't make anything. So to have that diversified, all those diversified revenue streams, I think is really important.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, those things happen at different stages of your business. Like I know we talked about a really exciting sponsor that you got, someone asked you to write a post and you made some money doing that. And you've got, again, over 12,000 followers and you've been doing this for almost 4 years. And I love the advice of diversifying your income. I think that's really important for anyone, whether you're blogging or babysitting, like have more than one way to earn money. So what are things that people can start to do now, like without thousands of followers, without these people asking them to write blogs? Like, are there things that folks can do if they just are starting out or if they just have an idea of starting to write online?
To make money or to start the blog in general?
I think to monetize. Yeah.
Monetize, what I would say is, like, first and foremost, you can sign up for ShopStyle. Not every affiliate network is open to everyone, but ShopStyle Collective is a free affiliate network, and you can sign up at 10 followers or 10,000 or 100,000 followers. It doesn't matter. So you can always sign up for ShopStyle and be using affiliate links and just start to kind of monetize that way. The other thing I would say is kind of like know when it's time to monetize. Everybody wants to jump in right away and start making money. And unfortunately, blogging is just not like that. It's not like it's not a money-making scheme, So it's definitely a slow play. And the reason why is because you are only of value to a brand if you are of value to your readers. So if you're not providing your readers with any value and they're not trusting what your opinion is and you're not being honest about it, then who's going to want to work with you as a brand? Because you're not actually influencing anyone if nobody's trusting your opinion. So it's hard to say, like, cut and dry when someone can start monetizing. I think you kind of know. It's when people start asking you. They start saying, like, what was that you were wearing? Or, like, can you recommend something to me? Can you recommend, like, if you're a beauty blogger and someone's like, I have dry skin, I'm looking for the perfect foundation, what would you recommend? That's when you start to say, like, hey, I am someone of influence, and that's when it might be time to start reaching out to brands. But I would say signing up for an affiliate network right away. You can do that like right from the beginning. And then on top of that, just kind of priming yourself and your channels to be monetized. So, like, a lot of people always ask, why can't I get into Reward Style, which is another affiliate network, but you have to be approved. And the reason Reward Style does reject people is because they don't look like someone who's selling anything or influencing anything. You kind of have to be posting about products or posting about experiences or recommending things, providing value. So if you're not adding any value, brands will not see you as being of any value to work with.
Yeah. Yes. I think that's huge. And Amazon, I know that's another one that a lot of folks can get free and easily. And so then if you aren't aware, affiliate links, you can embed them into your content, into your website, and even like you can post them on Facebook. And that special link then gives you a little bit of cash back for any purchases made with your link. And I think what you said is actually interesting about positioning yourself as an expert or someone that is adding a lot of value, and then brands will see you. Also, though, wouldn't you say that like individuals could start to see you as an expert, like asking you about how do you get rid? I saw your Instagram story about puffy eyes. If you find that, you're an expert in puffy eyes, and you could create, maybe it's not a meal plan, but some sort of simple product just with the expertise that you have and directly serve your followers or your clients and, monetize that. Do you see that as like a viable option?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think that. I think fitness blogging is like the easiest one for me to think like, okay, create a meal plan. But for so many people, like take Rach Parcell is a great example of a big blogger that moved over to a product. She's a fashion blogger. So her posts were not very robust, right? She's not writing. It's not like my style of writing where I have paragraphs and I'm writing about these hard-hitting topics. She has her pictures and then she has these little blurbs about what she's wearing, but people eat that up. She's gorgeous and she has great style. So what did she do? She literally sells clothes now. She made a fashion collection and it's doing really well. So, I mean, as soon as you kind of start to position yourself as an expert in whatever niche it is that you're in, there's always these paths towards monetization. It's really interesting to think through like how your expertise can turn into either a product or something of value that you can monetize.
Absolutely. And I think that comes from noticing what people are responding to, and also like what you enjoy doing, right? Like if she enjoyed doing clothes, like make clothes. And I totally agree. I think it's easy to think about fitness or really tangible things, but each of us are an expert. Like you're writing, you titled the blog Blondes and Bagels, and you've written about everything from skincare to pumpkin picking to anxiety, like you said. And you don't have to, you know, be so specific or be the top seller in some industry in order to start making packages. And it's really about offering value to the people who are looking for your support.
That's really encouraging to a lot of people starting out, because I mean, in total, I probably have less than 20,000 followers altogether. And like, I've been able to make, I mean, great. Again, I've had months where I've had great months and then months where I've had crap months. But, you know, my best month, I've had thousands of dollars I've made. And again, I'm under 20,000 followers. Micro influencers are a big thing right now. So there's ways to make money, but it's about what is the value you're adding. It's not always about the amount of people following you. It's literally what is the value that you're providing.
Totally. Yeah. And, you know, I think that comes back to the way we started this conversation, and that you have to be passionate and love the way that you're serving or helping others or whatever you're creating. Because if you're working a full-time job and you're talking about real 20,000 people, like you have to show up for those folks. And that's, that can feel like a lot. And so I'm wondering how do you cope when it feels overwhelming or like too much to balance it all?
I've learned to take breaks when I need to. I think I was afraid to at first, but it's okay to like go silent for a few days and just take some time to yourself. I've done it before. And in fact, I've actually told like on my stories, like been, yo guys, I need to take a break. And I actually get a lot of response from that because people understand it. They're like, oh my God, you do you. Like we see you every day. It's all good. So I actually get a lot of response with that kind of stuff because it makes you human. Everyone needs to take a break. But on top of that, I think I've just really had to just learn to balance my time. I'm someone that I get more stressed out when I'm not organizing my time. So I've just had to learn to take breaks and keep really organized.
Mm-hmm. Are you doing it totally alone? Like I see your cat in some of the Instagram snaps. I know you have a boyfriend, but like work and all of these things that, yeah, like sometimes you said you need a break from. How do you get support?
I don't have a team, but I don't do it alone, if that makes sense. So like, I don't have any paid employees. I don't have anything like that. But yeah, if I'm like, oh, you know, shoot, like even when I was just home, like yesterday, I realized I had a post I needed to do for Old Navy on Instagram. And I was like, I packed the dress with me, but I don't have a photo. So I just looked at my younger brother, was like, yo, dude, we got to go out in the backyard and take this photo. So, you know, your team is the support system you've built around you. And you just kind of have to be shameless that way and be able to ask for help. I do have a photographer I work with occasionally, not like super regularly. That gets expensive. So again, if I'm having a great month and Olay is sponsoring me, I can totally afford a photo shoot. But other months, it's my, 15-year-old brother. So
yeah, I mean, you're debunking so many of the myths here that like people do this full time and they're always designed by Old Navy when they go out, and they have a photographer and an assistant and a writer and all these things. And it's like, you are so resourceful. We're all so resourceful with the skills that we have, the people we have, and yeah, you just get it done. I love that attitude.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us, like, if there's, like I said, you're already just like debunking some myths, but is there anything you just wish people starting out a blog would know, or mistakes that you've made that you wish you wouldn't have?
I more just wish people would stop saying that they want to start it. And the reason I'm saying that is because it's like, just start it. Like sometimes I just want to shake people and be like, just start. Because if I have one regret, it's that I didn't start my blog 2 years earlier. And it was purely just because like I didn't find like the reason or the guts or whatever it was to just start. And I could be 2 years ahead of where I am now if I had started 2 years earlier. So I get so many people that come up to me and they say, oh, wow, I've watched your blog or I've followed your blog. And these are people that are kind of like on the outer circle of friend groups is what I'll say. So like not best friends, but people I know, and they'll kind of say that stuff. And I'm like, you could start one, but it's always that fear of it not being perfect, right? Like it's not exactly the way I want it, or I'm going to have no followers, or I'm going to have bad photos, or this or this or that or that. And you just have to start. And I'm kind of treating my YouTube the same right now. YouTube is horrible. Like I have not great backgrounds and not great lighting and maybe not even the greatest of editing all the times, but I'm trying to remind myself that, you know, I felt the same way about my blog when I started. It wasn't what I really was loving, but I started it and that's all it needed, because you can fix stuff over time. You can change your name, you can change your blog layout, you can change your website, you can change all that stuff, but you can't change having not started at all. And you just don't know what life holds. So my biggest thing is like, just start. That's the biggest thing. Just start.
Yeah, I just heard a quote about, you know, entrepreneurship or really sharing any passion, and said, if your first iteration doesn't make you cringe, like absolutely mortified, you waited too long.
Yeah.
Because like it's much more, especially at the beginning stage, it's about getting yourself out there, and it should be bad. You should not be perfect when you start. You have years to learn and get better. Yeah. So what was it that, you know, prompted you to say, all right, I'm just going to put myself out there? Did you have someone pushing you, or did you have an epiphany? What do you think made you finally start?
I think it was just that moment of feeling really trapped having graduated college. Like it was just such a stark reality. Like, oh my God, I used to have so much time. So much time. Like it was such a luxury that I didn't even know I wouldn't have anymore, you know? When I think back, like I used to sleep in and then stay up late and I had one class a day or whatever it was, right? And then now I'm like, I'm in one building in one chair for 8 hours, if not more. So I think it was just that moment of like, I have to find some level of escape and some way to like be able to do the things I want to do, even if I can't necessarily do them as a job. At least not right now, right? So where I was as a merchandiser, I was so far from the things I wanted to be doing. And I knew I loved social media. I knew I loved writing. I knew I loved design. And the blog was sort of like the culmination of all those things. So all those things sort of just came together out of that moment of like, I'm so frustrated where I am, and I just need to find something better for me to do when I get home than watch television.
Yes. Yes. I love the question. Like, if you keep doing what you're doing, where are you going to be in a year or 5 years? And if you just kept watching TV for 5 years, your life would be different. So how has the blog changed your life? Changed your life?
It's been huge. I mean, the thing I think people don't even know about me is like the blog wasn't my first entrepreneurial stint. Like I actually, before I had the blog, I made scarves, like of all things. So I graduated college, and immediately after graduating college, I was like, something's not right. I have to do something. So I sourced fabric, I made designs, I found a pattern maker, I found a factory in San Francisco, I had the fabric shipped in, I built up an Etsy store, I sold the scarves, and then once I was done with the scarves, I was like, not really for me. So, you know, it's just not my first entrepreneurial stint. So the blog has been amazing because it's stuck. And that's when I think I knew it was something, right? Like I had been kind of reaching and searching for whatever it was that felt like was missing, and the blog ended up just really sticking. You know, I can't remember what the time limit is, but there's a quote out there that says like, if you do something like repeatedly for X amount of time, it becomes a habit. You know what I mean? And that's what the blog has become. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon, and it's changed in so many ways over the past, few years. It's not going anywhere, and it makes me excited.
Yeah, and it gives you excuses to travel and meet new people and have that creative outlet.
World of that. I've worked with brands I didn't know I could work with. Worked with everyone from like Pepsi to Special K to Olay to Erin Condren to Buxom to Elf to like all these interesting brands that I really admire. I've gotten to travel a little bit for it. Not like huge places, but like I've had people put me up in a hotel. That was like unbelievable. And on top of that, the people I've met, like it's unreal. Like I've been able to connect with people across the country, and some of those people I actually think will be my friends for years to come because they're just good. So
they're your people. They're your people. Yeah. And sort of that grit that you have, and saying that this isn't the first thing that you tried to channel your passion or find something that would really fulfill you. And so I think that people also need to be willing to do that. And like, even if your first blog post is miserable, like you might not always be a blogger. You might find that there's another way for you, whether it's making scarves, whether it's creating some other kind of online business. It's just so healthy and so rewarding to put yourself out there and go through the motions, whether or not it's the most beautiful, perfect, 12,000 follower kind of project.
Yeah. And it won't be from the beginning. And that's okay. It's okay to try different things, and it's okay to see where it all takes you.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Well, any last sort of words of advice for us, people thinking about launching a passion project?
Again, like, not to steal Nike's hype, but like, just do it, man. Like, so many people say that they wish they could do this or wish they could do that. And it's about how you prioritize things and what matters to you most, right? Like, there's no shame in wanting to come home and unwind in front of the television, but it depends what kind of like gets your juices flowing. And if you have something that you've sort of been like marinating on, rather than sitting around and waiting for it to be the perfect time or the perfect moment or the perfect, idea, just do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Totally. I love that. And I have a sort of shameless plug that I'm helping folks just do it. I'm giving away, your first 5 steps that you need to start your passion project. Because there are so many things that can get in the way of, I have a full-time job, or my scarf thing didn't work out, or I don't know the first steps. And I think that, working through those fears is part of it, but you also do need some like steps. And we dropped a lot of like words that are not known to everyone, like WordPress and affiliate links. And so I'm helping folks break that down on Wednesday. And I know Kelsey is also open to talking to folks that have started a blog, and, what other topics are you ready to help folks with?
So kind of like blogger boot camps, but social media management. That's where my real passion is. I freaking love social media. So
and you're so good at it.
Confused by it. It's intimidating, right? Like, people are like, how do people get traffic on Pinterest? Like, there's so many little interesting secrets to unlock. And I think what makes social media so interesting is it changes every 5 seconds, which is crazy, but it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm always here to kind of answer any social media questions, or I'm an open book when it comes to blogging. I've written whole posts about it. I'm happy to help people.
Yeah, I love it. You're such a real person. That's one of the things that really has drawn me to your work, is that you show all aspects and you keep it real, even if, Olay is paying you to write about whatever. So thanks again. And we'll make sure that, Kelsey's in the group if you want to reach out to her. And yeah, stay tuned for more things coming from her. And I would love to see everyone back here on Wednesday so we can start talking about how you can take those first steps and make a little money doing what you love. What else is better?
Nothing. Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you too. I will see you soon when I'm back. And I really appreciate, again, your time this evening.
Bye.